Hey there! Welcome to Fish and Beer. I'm your host, Chris Talbot. In this episode, we attend the Toronto Sportsmen show, now in its 63rd year.
Hey there, me again. I've now got my coffee and I'm kind of starting to take a look around the show. And really, this is still the boating area, right beside the little trout fish pond, hosted by Fish TV. So far, it's really early morning here. I was here and walked in just as they were cutting the green ribbon for St. Patrick's Day to open up the show. And well, quite frankly, it's pretty dead right now. But I expect this will get busier later on, and this weekend will probably be really crazy. Anyway, off to look around. This is the casting pond at the Toronto Sportsmen show, and coming up right after this, we have an interview with Dave Copplestone about some of the invasive species that are infiltrating Ontario waters.
So this is a round goby. They came from Europe. They were introduced to Lake St. Clair, and from there they spread to all the Great Lakes, and now they're in some inland lakes as well. So we're seeing them in Lake Simcoe and Bryce Lake in the Peterborough area, and they're spreading out from there. So it's one that we're really concerned about. The problem with them is that they eat a lot of fish eggs and small fish. So things like lake trout, walleye, smallmouth bass, they'll go in and just clean out their entire nest. So like a smallmouth bass, for example, which would normally defend its nest against predators, now would, just because there's so many gobies coming in from so many different areas, they would eventually just abandon their nest. The gobies would come in and eat them all. Another problem that we're seeing is with zebra mussels, because they came to Ontario first about 20 years ago, gobies followed. Gobies feed on zebra mussels, and zebra mussels, they pick up a lot of contaminants. So they're passing all these contaminants up to ground gobies, and things are feeding on gobies now and picking up all these contaminants as well. So we're seeing a problem with one particular contaminant called botulism type E. And when things like fish-eating birds feed on the gobies, we're seeing them die off in large numbers. So things like common loons, mergansers, herons are dying off from feeding on botulism-infected gobies. So there's just lots of different problems with these things, especially with gobies. They're a huge nuisance as well to anglers. So if anybody ever catches them, just report them, let us know where they're spreading. And if you do catch one, to make sure you kill it and not return it to the water.
That was Dave Copplestone of the Ontario Federation of Anglers and Hunters we were just talking to. After visiting with Dave Copplestone of the Ontario Federation of Anglers and Hunters, I finished the tour of the North Hall before moving on to the South Hall, where here I stopped at the Fly Fishing Forum. I'd meant to just make a quick stop at the Fly Fishing Forum because I had never fly fished in my life, but I ended up enjoying myself so much that I stayed for easily an hour, hour and a half. And it was Pat Kelly of the Isaac Walton Fly Fishing Club, you'll see here in a second, who helped me learn to tie my first fly and also how to cast. Wandering through the fly fishing forum area, I ended up sitting down at the table here to learn to tie my first fly. Thanks to Pat Kelly for taking a shot of me doing so, and as you can see, I'm concentrating really, really hard. Well, here I am with Pat Kelly, and I've just tied my first fly. So this is something I've never done before. I've never actually gone fly fishing. So
it's a woolly worm.
It's a woolly worm.
It'll catch big fish, and little fish.
We'll go get some trout.
And my arm doesn't, like, I'm not really throwing hard. It's just a quick movement like that.
Okay, it's almost more of a flick.
Yeah, it's like that. That's exactly right. Like you're throwing a dart. You throw a dart like that. And when you're throwing a dart, your wrist doesn't move as when I did it there. You're throwing a dart.
Okay, cool.
And you you get the line out by
Just pulling on it?
letting it out in stages. A little bit at a time. See how I just give it a little, and then slowly follow through.
Mm-hmm.
Very slowly. You come to a sudden stop, like when you're throwing a dart. Stop, and then you relax your hand. Do the same thing.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Okay.
Not so hard, just easy.
And you right.
Hey, I think I just spent the last hour in the fly fishing area and learned how to tie fly, learned how to cast, spent quite a bit of time learning how to cast, and I think it's something I'm actually going to pick up. Understand that the area I live in, near Duffin Creek, you can actually go fly fishing. It does produce good results. So one of these episodes we're going to go out and check out fly fishing. Now we're going to head into the South Hall. We started in the North Hall, which is the smallest hall in Metro Toronto Convention Centre. Now we're going to head into the South Hall. Okay, just came out of the South Hall, managed to walk now the entire show. You may be able to hear the kayaker guy talking in behind me. Now just kind of resting a little bit, I'm going to go in search of food. One of the many guests and speakers at the show was Bob Azumi, who everyone knows from Real Fishing. I sat down, just the last thing I did before leaving the show was to watch Bob's seminar on strike zones. So here you can see part of the seminar here where Bob was talking about fishing strike zones and kind of what to do. He gave a lot of good tips, but unfortunately my day was over and I had to move on.
Let me just get this one going here.
I managed to refrain from buying too much gear while at the show, but I did pick up these. These are fast attach multi-use clips, which, as it was explained to me, are meant to very quickly attach and detach your lures. I don't know whether they're actually any good. The guy promised that they wouldn't slip while in the water, but you know, we'll find out. We'll give them a test one day. Around the same place, I picked up these. These are you know, kind of cool to me anyway, because it's something I've been wanting. These are half-finger fishing gloves from Quantum. Not too bad, not a bad color as well, I suppose. Not that it really matters. The fish probably don't care. But these will be good for when I go out fishing, especially when it's a little cooler. Last but not least at all is something I've been looking for a while. I've been keeping my eye out for this. This is just a collapsible fishing rod. These, with my upcoming camping canoe trips, this will be very handy because it's a lot easier to pack something like this than it is to pack a full-size fishing rod that doesn't break down at all or breaks down in pulls. Alright, so what did we learn here today? Or what did we learn at the Toronto Sportsmen's Show? I had a very good time. I hope everybody else that attends this year does as well. I learned a little bit about red gobies. We talked to a gentleman representing the Ontario Federation of Anglers and Hunters who was there talking about red gobies and zebra mussels and other invasive species, all of which anglers really should be aware of when you go out. Some of these are very harmful to the environment or other fish species that you might be going after. And that's it for the second episode of Fish and Beer. Special thanks to Pat Kelly and the Isaac Walton Fly Fishing Club. Hope to have another episode for you soon. Come back again. Thanks.